there's this one aspect about you that's just holding you back from people following your lead. But you don't know what it is right now, but I can help you. I want you to think of your life as a great adventure. And in this venture, we're going to have a spectacular story. I'm Eric with Leadership Development. Today we're going to talk about what's holding you back from gathering the followers that will help you complete the vision that you have to overcome the challenge that's in front of you. Because we all know that a single person cannot overcome these roadblocks or these things that are just in our path to reaching success. You see, we get caught up with what we see in TVs, movies, reading books, but you gotta remember, those were created from imagination. And in imagination, the laws of physics, the laws of attraction, the laws of everything don't exist. If we can make the story up as we go. But how do we work with the environment that we're living in? The environment in which there are obstacles everywhere. It seems like the whole world against us. And that is how we're going to approach this. We're going to approach this that you are in a great story and that you are on an adventure. This adventure is to overcome this challenge. But the only way you're going to be able to overcome this challenge is if you get the help of others. They don't have to be friends. You don't even have to know them. But what unites you is the commonality that you all want to see that this challenge is met, faced, and defeated. Now, I'm stealing this from Donald Miller's story brand, but this is what allows us to be able to keep life in perspective, to make life worth taking on the challenges, overcoming those challenges, and being successful. And that's why only 1% are on top as the leaders. That 1% are successful in this society because they understand that their life is a story, their life is the adventure. And in this adventure, we're going to have these elements. So let's start with the characters. There are 4 characters. There's the hero, the person who's trying to overcome a challenge. There's the guide, the person who helps the hero through their wisdom, past experiences. Then there's the villain, the obstacle, the person, the object, the thing that creates the barriers to success. And then there's the victims. And the victims represent the strength, the extremeness, the capabilities of the villain. So with those 4 characters, you eventually in your life become a victim. Life happens. Sorry, life just happens. But how long you stay down there in that victim mentality determines your rate of success, your chances of success. And the best thing that I learned when I was young was this statement that I came up with when I was dealing with my issues. And that was, a person is not defined by what happens to them, but they are defined by how they react, how they pick themselves up, how they are able to get past the setbacks and overcome those challenges. So for you to get out of that victim mentality and start becoming the hero in your own story has to start with, how do you pick yourself up? Do you understand that things happen for no reason? We believe in cause and effect, but we forget that there's such thing as influence and impact. If you remember that those things exist out there, just because the way that there's with the 7 billion people in this world, that they ripple through the universe, creating things that happen to us for no reason. Once we understand that environment, we're able then to take on the challenges, to start seeking out what needs to happen. Everyone talks about the hero's journey. We're going to simplify this. We're going to take you recognizing there's something wrong. You actually know that there's a barrier, there's a challenge that you have to face. You named it. You named the name. That's important because once you identify what it is, then you can start working solutions to what needs to happen. So once you've identified what the challenge is, who can help you? What can help you? You start getting smart. You start looking for resources. You find the guide. The guide could be dead or alive. And why I say that is because there are some great documented books that can relate to modern society of how to overcome this stuff. And you have that ability. You have those resources available to you. You can find them in the library. You can find them on Google. Everything is figure-outable, and it's true. Everything is figure-outable. You start looking for that guide. For me, I find various guides who are various experts because I always surround myself with people who are smarter than me, especially in different areas. I'm always surrounding myself with people more intelligent than me. Hell, I'm married to someone who's smarter than me in a lot of things to help me grow, to help me transition from the military mindset to the leader solutions mindset. So now we've looked for what these answers are. We look for this guide. We look for this wisdom. How can we apply these pieces of information to our current situation? It doesn't always work. It was a different time. It was a different place. What had worked for me doesn't work for you, and what works for you doesn't work for me. But you know what? If I can figure out what I can eliminate, then I can dial in what the solutions or what are the elements of the solution I need to overcome this challenge. And trust me, I have to be very analytical and trust my gut in knowing what works, what doesn't work, and what should always be considered. So now we have to take on, so we got out of the victimhood, we started our hero's journey, and then we found our guide. Now we have to face the villain, the challenge. We found the solutions. Now we have to start applying this stuff. And applying this stuff is never easy because that means we have to come out of our comfort zone and actually take the chance. Because we might fail. And you know, failure rate is probably about 88%. But guess what? The best stories are talks about those 12% success rates. And if you don't try and fail, you don't know what to eliminate from the myriad of information that you're using. I tried and I failed many times. And that's just the way it works for me. I have to put my hands on it. I have to get myself beaten up. I have to feel the pain to understand, hey, this doesn't work. The best thing I learned from being a pilot was I have to learn from other people's experiences. I have to learn from their mistakes, their pains. Because if I don't want to go through that myself, I have to understand and ask the questions. What was going on? What was the information available to you? I hate what were you thinking. It was, what was the information available to you? What were the environment that you were in that had your attention? How do you work through those things? So as we're taking on these challenges and we're trying this way, we're trying that way, and we're measuring what is success. We have to find what does success look like? What is the end state? We have to visualize it. We have to give it a name. We have to tell the people who are joining us on this journey what this means. See, you thought I forgot about the other people. Trust me, people will follow the hero as the leader. Don't know why that's a story thing, because usually the hero or the leader is not the hero. Usually the leader is the one who has the resources and the power to be able to allow the hero to be successful. They usually aren't the ones. But for sakes and purposes, for what you're doing at your stage in your life, you have to be the hero and the leader. And guess what? People do not follow victims. People do not follow villains. Except when the villain actually has their moral high ground as well, in which they're able to get people joining them. Now, a villain isn't evil. A villain is just an antagonist. Remember that. Villains have their point of view, their perception of life, their certain truths, and they have the people around them who believe in the same thing they believe. They're the hero in their story. But it just happens that you're just butting heads with each other. Understand that as you're drawing your followers, you're drawing your people, your team to help you overcome this challenge, to help you all overcome this challenge, because they see it too. And together, you as a hero have offered out a solution, given a plan, given a vision, given a mission, and this is how we're going to do it with our core values. Now you're able to move forward. Now people want to follow you. And that's what's making for a great story. Because at the end of the day, when you find success, you're going to find that it wasn't just you that did it all. You're going to find that it was the collective that did it all, because not one person can overcome a challenge. I couldn't overcome my personal challenges without the help of friends, therapists, doctors. It took people that had believed in my vision to become better, to help me be the hero in my story. And now I have people who want to be the hero in their stories. And so they follow my vision of helping others to become greater than what they are. I want you to do the same thing. I want you to be the same thing. I want you to be the hero in your story, so when you tell your adventures to others, they're inspired. They want to be part of it, and they want your help to move you from the hero to the guide and help them become the heroes in their stories. Because that's what leaders do. And by being a leader, you're creating the climate of excellence. You're creating a safe environment for people to take chances and to be able to find creative ways to answer problems. You're giving them the resources for them to be successful, and you're keeping out the unnecessary noise that distracts people from being on the path that they need to be on. If you like what you're hearing here, hey, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. Tell me that you like what we're talking about here, and that this is going to help you become the leader that your community needs. I'm Eric with Leadership Developed. Hey, if you missed last week's video, hey, check them out right over here. We'll talk to you again next week.